Good evening. So the audio should sound quite a bit better now. So I don't quite have the muddiness that I did. I might want to back the lows out of that a little bit. That's a little bit better there. So anyway, monumentally better. I thought I was going to have to seek a executive order from Biden to be able to get the damn thing. It was crazy. Crazy. It was shipped SurePost, which comes UPS from wherever it's sent from, in this case New Jersey, to your local post office, and it travels UPS that way, and then to you it travels just with your local postal service. Well, so it got in early Saturday morning. And I guess SurePost, they don't do anything at all with it on the weekends, I assume. So nothing happened. Of course, Monday was a holiday. Nothing happened. Tuesday, they didn't manage to get to it. Today, they managed to get to it. But I guess for whatever reason, we had to substitute mail person. And heck, I don't think I got it until... Oh gosh, it was after 5 when I finally got it. So got it all hooked up. The cable management is horrible, but I'll work on that. Just kind of trying to figure out how I want to do everything, where I want to put everything, and one of those deals. So I've actually got to go through this entire desk and rewire the entire desk from top to bottom, because again, initially when I do it, I just kind of have to get things hooked up, and then once I know exactly where everything's going to be, how I'm going to have it, then I kind of have to go back through and untangle all the mess that I made so that I can neatly run the wires. So I never have done that yet with this desk, because really it's the only bad place that it is right down by me, and there's not a lot I can do there because it's all the excess cord all in one spot. So, anyway, enough of my first world problems. So, I do want to touch on something before we get into the meat of tonight's topic. And I do want to touch on this shortage issue again. And I want to plead with you to get what you need to get. Get your stuff squared away. And I mean that across the board, whether it's just your Christmas presents you plan on getting, or whether it's prepping supplies or whatever. But I'm going to be real honest with you. I know that they're pushing for people to go ahead and get their Christmas stuff taken care of. Man, make sure you've got yourself squared away for food and other supplies that you may need. Make sure that you put a focus on an alternative heat source, especially if you live in one of the colder areas. Even if you don't, look at what happened with Texas last year. So, if it gets cold, cold enough where you're at, in fact, I would just say anywhere in the continental U.S., I would make sure that you have some type of alternative heat source. But even more so, and I've said this before, and I think there's a lot of merit to it, have what you need to be able to stay alive, to be able to stay warm enough to stay alive without any heat. Because you never know. You never know what could happen with the plans that you put in place, especially if it's not something that you typically do. If you normally don't, heat with wood, or if you normally don't heat with whatever type of other source, you want to make sure that you can survive if something happens to that alternative source. I'm telling you, it's playing a fool's game by not making sure that you have that base layer of protection. And in the case of like hypothermia, it's having what you need, the proper layers and everything, to be able to stay warm enough to stay alive without any kind of heat at all. I'm not an expert on that area, not even remotely. I know that a lot of that stuff is extremely expensive. Like if you look at like ski type of jackets and stuff like that, but it's also extremely effective. They've got like vests and stuff, like down vests, and it's unbelievable how warm that they keep you, and how light they are, and how small you can pack them. However, you have to take out a mortgage to be able to buy an outfit. So there's that. That's why we had to opt for, $45 sleeping bags. You can go into the hundreds of dollars for those as well. The nice little down ones or whatever that pack up real nice and neat, real super lightweight. But we ain't got money for that. So just get what works, get what you can afford. Wool blankets, you can get them on Amazon for $35. I've got in our wish list, I need to pick up 2 of them. I still need to get 1 more sleeping bag, and I need to get 2 of these blankets. $35 a piece, 90% wool. And I can't remember the dimensions, but it's not a tiny one. And highly, reviewed wool blanket. So I think between the sleeping bags, the wool blankets, and I wouldn't mind getting a Woobie. And I think between those 3, it could get completely stupid cold. And I think you could bundle up under all that and survive. So, anyway, make sure that you get what it is that you need to get. Make sure you get whatever goods, and there's a reason. Let me show you here. Mainstream is really hitting on this hard, and that's why I'm making a point of it. Mainstream is hitting it hard. Right in their headline, how soon do you need to buy to avoid shortages? And it says the supply chain shortage is no joke. Hundreds of ships are stuck offshore filled with items that stores can't get on shelves. Oh yeah? Then how is it that you can buy it right now? If if they can't get it on shelves, then how can you tell people to go get all this shopping done if there's no shopping to be done? I get it. There's a lot of bare shelves out there. I've heard that from a ton of different places. However, I'm not quite sure as to the cause of all this. But what I find extremely interesting is how all the stores, Jen's getting countless things from, like, notifications from her Walmart app on her phone with deals that they've got going on. So I'm sure Amazon's been just having deals like you wouldn't believe. I heard Target was starting their, more or less their Black Friday stuff early too. Why? I don't know that it's all because of shortages, but I think that that is certainly a factor. But I also think that there's more to it. And I think that in a very, very short amount of time, these cats know people are not going to be in the mood to be spending money, especially on things like Christmas gifts. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Sounds bizarre? Believe me, there's a whole lot more important than Christmas gifts. So, I think, just maybe, we're about to figure that out. Kind of leads a little bit into the subject tonight. So I'm not going to read into this or anything like that. I put it out on Twitter. In fact, I think it might be the last thing that I put out on Twitter. So anyway, lots of talk about censorship. In fact, Tim Pool tonight's talking about Steven Crowder. Apparently he's been given a strike for talking about this this deal that went on in Loudoun County. And it's I don't know what he said. I have no idea what he said or anything, so I can't comment on any of it. Other than to say, I understand there are a lot of people that are having problems with censorship. I get it. I'm still trying to figure out how come I can say the things that I say and be untouched. And I think the answer is simple. I'm not saying anything that drastic whatsoever. And here's the thing. I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to lead you around by the nose. You're not some imbecile. That to me, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't want to have to lead people around. I think that the real problem that we're facing in this country is complacency. We all know the problems. We've talked it into the ground. Talking about it isn't going to do anything. It's just simply not. So when you look at the root of it, it's not even remotely censorship that's our biggest problem. It's the fact that people won't stop the madness that is happening to them. They won't defend their brothers and sisters that are under scrutiny. And I'm speaking largely. I'm speaking on a mass scale. I'm not speaking on independent little pockets. I'm speaking on a mass scale. And it's not all because they've got us so divided. That's not even the biggest part of it. The biggest part of it is something I've talked about before, and it's a word the first time I heard it was from Monograph, and I don't know if it really exists or not, but the word is called comfortability. Comfortability. And that is, I don't think he's got the video up anymore. I've got a copy of it, but it is so on target. Absolutely so on target. And essentially what he's saying is that because people don't want to give up what they still have, they won't make any waves. They want to try to hang on to what they've got left. Which brings it down to the root of the problem, which is selfishness. To be honest. Everybody's out for their own. That's all they're worried about. To hell with the next guy. It is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. All I can do is look at it and be honest about it. But again, that all goes back to what I've said long ago, that to fix the problem, it has to start in ourselves. We've got so many people that are looking out, waiting for somebody else to fix the problem for them, when they won't fix the problem with them. Because essentially it was a bunch of people that had problems with themselves that the world pretty much became a world of that, a world of people like that. And when you have a society like that, well, you're going to have a leadership like that. We got to change in ourselves first. As a father would say, come out of her, my people. That's what he means. Wasn't necessarily about moving out to the sticks. Although that doesn't help, or doesn't hurt. His main intent had nothing to do with moving out to the sticks. Had to do with mind and heart. So anyway, we are going to have to come to a realization in this country that regardless of what we currently have, managed to hang on to, we're not going to be allowed to keep it if we let them move forward. I mean, it's a nice pipe dream. Good luck on smoking the hopium. But if you haven't been paying attention, they're taking everything away from everybody, one way or another. It's crazy. Their favorite way to do it is to get us to take it away from each other. We aren't going to be able, I don't think, in my opinion, to turn this around. What's going on. And I've said that the last, few days. And it's simply because it's not in the word that we're going to. But that isn't what we were supposed to do anyway. That wasn't our command. Was to turn things around. It was to stay true. It was to stay on that path. It was try to lead as many brothers and sisters as you could through the darkness. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I know if we continue to just talk and not do anything, we'd already lost. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that there's a whole lot more losing to do. I can't see how. They've effectively wiped out the entire middle class at this point. I don't know how a lot of the people that are still, buying a bunch of stuff, spending lots of money, I don't know how they're doing it. And I know there's a lot of houses, being sold and stuff like that. And I can't believe that it's all I can't believe it's all just big investors and stuff like that. I mean, I've known of a few different individuals that have been buying, trying to buy a house and stuff. It is, there's a lot of people that bought houses over the past, I don't know, I guess year or so, year or two. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss of how. I kind of have a feeling that real estate is in a much bigger bubble than it was before. And I don't necessarily think it's all because of the same reasons. But I think there's a whole lot of people that bought in underwater. And I think the bottom's going to fall out. And I think the bottom's going to stay out for a good while because I think the economy itself is going to tank. And that's, that's an unfortunate situation to those people that bought in, especially if they had a decent paying job when they bought the piece of land and then lose it because of the downturn. And now, like I say, got a piece of property that you were underwater when you bought it. Now economy's taken a downturn, so did the value of your property. Not a good situation. And I really do think that that's what's going on. I think we're going to see a lot of that. But there are a lot of things, and I just don't understand. I've been asking the question for a long time. How come the people aren't standing up? I've been asking this about different events that go on in schools. You know, I mean, resource officers beating the hell out of students. And I mean in unnecessary manners. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know what happens in some cases with some students, and I'm not talking about that. Nothing would be done. You know? I remember tons of different stories about things happening to students in school. And you didn't hear anything about the parents raising hell. Once in a while, you would hear about the students raising hell. You'd hear about the students that had a protest or whatever. But the parents were nowhere to be seen. And we would be talking about cases like this to where a child would be physically abused. It's ridiculous. And why didn't anybody say anything then? Complacency. They didn't want to make any ripples. Can't make any ripples. And the other thing is, in today's society, everybody's got to be accepted for the most part. I'm not speaking about everybody. But there's this huge desire, this huge need to be accepted. That also don't lead well to our situation. I don't know. I certainly don't have all the answers. I do know that doing nothing is gonna cause the good old USA to disappear faster than you can ever imagine. 'Cause it's about gone. I mean, for goodness sake, there's a warning label on our founding documents now. How much more of a sign do you need than that? And I said a long time ago, I said over a decade ago, I warned about that. I warned about them going after the American flag. I warned about them going after the founding documents. I warned about them going after the national anthem. Over a decade ago, I was talking about that stuff, long before I started this news show. And I said, that's when you really need to be concerned. That's the moment that you either do it or you don't. Because that's the whatever you want to call it, the death rattle of this nation. What else would people be looking for? A destruction of the founding documents, the destruction of the anthem, the national anthem, the destruction of the flag? What more do you need? Oh, you need the banner across the top to be changed. That's what you got to see in order for it to sink in, right? The banner across the top. When they change that, and the colors are no longer red, white, and blue, then maybe we'll understand it's not the good old US of A anymore. I don't know. I sure hope that over the course of the coming months, people find their voice. People find their feet, meaning to stand up. But, and I mean this with every bit of what makes me up, you better be ready. Because I do think it's going to come to that point. I do think that there is a point to where the American people will say no more. But you better be ready. Because there will be a reply. That I assure you. You know, all the giggly videos on Cops TV show. I wasn't a fan of it back when it started. You know why? It encourages the wrong kind of behavior, the wrong kind of attitude. It encourages an authoritarian mindset. Notice how they brought that back, right? I don't know. Like I say, I think there is a point that the American people will stand up, but you better be ready. Because I think the reply is going to probably come in the form of losing necessities. I don't know. Infrastructure. Electricity. Water. Stuff like that. I really do think that they'll take it that far. In a heartbeat. You don't? Look at what they're doing over January 6th. They've got an agenda. And they've gone all in on this agenda. I mean, they're still kicking out doses as fast as they can. When everybody that's wanted it's gotten it. Why? Why? And why do they need so many? Complacency. Too much of it, and they're going to be coming door to door. Don't forget that. Go ahead and do some headlines. I do have another little toy over here I haven't used yet, so if I find the right moment, I will. UN's top court sides with... Oh, I do have a couple from last night, starting with this one. UN's top court sides with Somalia over Kenya in years-long maritime border dispute involving resource-rich area off African coast. Boeing tells all U.S. employees to get their COVID-19 jabs by December 8th to comply with Biden's order for federal contractors. Okay, now from today. A Pentagon Archbishop says troops can't be forced to get COVID vaccine against their conscience as branches scrutinize exemptions. Now, this is the Pentagon Archbishop. Okay? Pentagon Archbishop says troops can't be forced, cannot be forced to get COVID vaccine against their conscience as branches scrutinize exemptions. U.S. to fully reopen for fully vaccinated travelers from Canada and Mexico in November, says reports. Russia to produce over 1,100 new planes and helicopters by 2030, says the Transport Ministry. Beijing says its military drills near Taiwan are a response to its provocations and collusion with foreign powers. Coal prices in China hit record highs as floods worsen supply crunch. Australia's Northern Territory sets broad jab-for-job COVID-19 vaccine mandate for public service workers. Parents want Loudoun County, Virginia School Board to quit after accusation it covered up bathroom rape by gender-fluid sex predator. I'm just reading the headline. YouTube. That is this. I don't know what he said. I don't know what Steven Crowder said, but that is what supposedly got him got. Was that story? Facebook's new smart glasses could be American spying tool, Russian security agency says, warning of potential ban in the country. United Airlines COVID-19 vaccine mandate halted by Texas federal judge after 6 workers demand exemption. China's trade surplus with U.S. surges to record $42 billion in September. Hate speech. Instagram removes post highlighting male advantage in sports. Also heard about that on Tim's show. Amazon delivery drivers to launch group action lawsuit against e-commerce giant over employment rights. Spain evacuates 160 more Afghans in repatriation mission as it aims to rescue all former collaborators at risk. Beijing urges Delhi to stop doing the things that undermine mutual trust and relations after Indian VP's visit to disputed region. Ukrainian opposition leader Medvedchuk has house arrest prolonged as prosecutors bring new charges of treason and aiding terrorism. Biden's bid to woo Moscow shows U.S. is tired of conflict with Russia over Ukraine and is more worried about war with China instead. Android phones send device user identifier data to manufacturers and big tech firms offering pre-installed apps, a new study says. USS Enterprise's Captain Kirk to become the oldest person in space, courtesy of Jeff Bezos. And yeah, he flew the big space frolics up into the air and made it back down safe. That deserved that. Let's see. One-shot Sputnik Light shows 70% defense against Delta variant and high efficacy as booster for other vaccines, says a study. Hang on, that was a little bit loud. Turned it down a little bit. Alarming drop in life expectancy in England after even before COVID pandemic hit, a new university study shows. A Polish government agrees to fund $400 million wall on Belarusian border as Warsaw seeks to stop asylum seekers entering the country. Walls, huh? You don't say. Soaring gas prices in Western Europe down to mistaking reliance on wind farms. Russia on track for record exports in 2021, says Putin. Furious motorists forcibly remove insulate Britain eco-warriors after protests block roads once more. Hang on, I gotta have some coffee. Several reported injured as Kosovoan, I guess that's how you would say that, police clash with Serb crowds around Mitrovica, I don't have a clue, amid rising tensions. I can't say these names. Russia willing to boost gas transit through Ukraine if Kiev offers competitive conditions. EU to propose removing most Northern Ireland checks in very genuine effort to address concerns, the Irish FM says. Kremlin says U.S. and Russia agree Ukraine must give Donbass special autonomous status as Nuland hails productive meeting in Moscow. Belarus threatens citizens with 7 years behind bars just for following opposition social media accounts and news sites online.
Bullshit.
That was a good spot for that one. Star Trek star William Shatner lands after becoming oldest person to visit space. U.S. consumer prices make biggest year-to-year jump in 13 years. COVID-19 vaccine sharing must become reality with aggressive and ambitious action needed to reach 40% coverage, says the WHO chief. Apple cutting iPhone Christmas production by 10 million units due to chip shortage, says the media. Price of crude oil could quite possibly rise to $100 per barrel despite efforts of Russia and OPEC to stabilize the market, says Putin. Which means higher fuel prices. UK minister attempts to stave off Christmas panic, buying after concerns about nation's biggest container port becoming gridlocked. So let me get this right. It's the ports, not just in the United States, but in the UK too. Cool story, bro.
Bullshit.
NHS COVID pass suffers outage for several hours, leaving people unable to show proof of vaccination status. Leicester MP convicted of harassment after court heard she threatened to use acid against partner's female friend. Joe Biden could get dragged into son Hunter's FBI probe over shared finances, says the media. But nothing will happen. I mean, that's the problem. Miss me yet, Trump trolls Biden with roundup of dire U.S. news. Amazon rigged search results to favor its own knockoff products despite denials, says reports. Bow and arrow attack kills and injures. Bow and arrow attack kills and injures multiple people in Norway. Terrorism not ruled out, says reports. And hang on, because I can't remember off the top of my head what. Okay, kills 5. 5 people were killed and 2 more were injured. And I don't know if they've gotten even remotely down to what happened, why the guy did it. A U.S. judge holds D.C. jail officials in contempt of court over alleged failure to medically treat January 6 defendant. 2/3 of Republicans want Trump to run again in 2024 as he laps DeSantis and Pence in support, says a poll. German police unions sound alarm over potential weed legalization amid ongoing government coalition talks. Yeah, because that's so horrible. Meeting with Nuland produced some measured results, but American ultimatum still a problem, Russian Deputy FM tells RT. Some 250,000 UK customers affected as 2 more energy suppliers cease to trade amid ongoing gas price crisis. Syrian air defenses engage hostile missile. Let me try this again. Syrian air defenses engage hostile missiles south of Palmyra. State media says state media. I got to get used to having a headset on again. More U.S. soldiers killed themselves in a few months than died from COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic, the Pentagon reveals. Tommy Robinson slapped with stalking order after appearing froth-mouthed at journalist's home. Satellite photos show more construction at military base where U.S. has serious concerns about China's presence. Overdoses soar by nearly 30% in the U.S., breaking record for the second year in a row, says the CDC. Let's go, Brandon. Putin says U.S. itself killing dollar as reserve currency by constant money printing and sanctions forcing the world to seek alternative. Putin won't rule out oil and gas trade in cryptocurrencies, but says they are too volatile and energy consuming for now. Let's see. We talked about that article, and I do see a number 1 up there. Oh, we're going to be out of here pretty quick today. Leaked Border Patrol documents show at least 160,000 illegal immigrants were released into the U.S. since March, says reports. Since March. That's a few voters, isn't it? Yeah, it's a few voters. Just a few. I'm sharing it out. All right. Okay. That is, that's the news. Fun times. Hang in there. I'm telling you. Get ready. And if you're not comfortable with what you have, I would focus more on taking care of what you need before I can be so concerned of putting stuff under trees. But that's me, you know. I can't tell you for certain things are going to go stupid. But pretty much everybody's saying things are going to go stupid. Everybody, the retailers, everybody. So I think I would plan for stupid. I really do. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow and we'll do this again. Hope to see you here then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.